Hello, everybody. Happy Monday to you all. I have got some very weird camera nonsense going on today, which is upsetting me greatly. It's something to do with the lighting, and I've got some blur going on. So do stay with me or minimize me if it's interfering with your if it's triggering you if it's triggering you and setting you off. I am standing in today for file day, and today, guys, is going to be extremely short and sweet, because what I want you to start thinking about is when we have a file day, which generally happens twice in the month, right? Twice in the month, and definitely, Mike, it is the sunshine, but 15 minutes ago there was hailstones, right? It's one of those days. It's a four seasons in one day kind of day here in Northern. But if we start thinking about our file day, as there's one of them is generally regarded as beginning of the month. Okay, so call that file day one, right? And this file day is middle of the month. Okay, which we could say is file day number two. And sometimes I know you can have a third file day in a month. It really only happens a few months of the year, depending on when the dates align. That would be a very late file day, and therefore I would kind of not disregard it, but disregard it in the reason that I'm going to say. All right, so both file days are very similar in terms of what you do in relation to your drop files. Okay, so inside drop files we have S&T, we have PPCC, and we also have our DLR. Right, these happen on all file days. Excuse me, on all file days. All right, now I'm not going to go into that today, guys, and go through about 15 or 20 minutes of me showing Seller Central. You guys have got that, or at least you've got the information available to you that you can go and find those things out. But let me know inside the comments. Are we cool on that front? That you know what you're doing on all types of file days in relation to our S&T, our PPCC, and our DLR. Those happen on every single file day. Just give me a yes or a Y inside the chats, or a cool, or a I gotcha, or a dead on, or whatever you want to put in there, just so that we know. Now, if you do have any questions on that, go seek the information that is out there. Go and do a search inside Circle. It is well publicized. All of the information is there. Now, of course, there is something that we do. I like that, Dana. Mostly. Well, let's turn that mostly in and around into a I know exactly what I'm doing on those drop files. Do ask the likes of Noel in a DM if there's something that you're missing there, and we'll be able to direct you to the education again, or go back over that. It's always good to go back over the education a number of times so that you can get 100% with the info and the procedure or process that we have to go through. Now, also at the start of a month, okay, guys, at the start of the month, there is two other files that we have to complete. Okay, what are those two files? Right, let me know inside the chat box, and I want everybody to type this in according to what they know. And if you don't know, type in don't know. Okay, don't follow the leader. If you don't know, I want to know that you don't No. Okay. So what are the two other files? They're engine files that you've got to complete at the start of a month for the previous month. Okay. So Carson has got it. All right. But I want you to type it in. If you don't know, I want you to type in, I don't know. I didn't know that. Okay. So we got stock assets and expenses from Carson, stock asset file and expenses from Dana, stock and expenses from Mike. Joanne says what they said. As long as you know that that's what that's what you were going to type in, that's okay. Right. Now, if you don't know, then you need to go back and educate ourselves on those two different files. Okay. Sal says every month it's done. I love it, Sal. I love it. I love it. That's great. Now, the reason why we do that is because at the start of a month, whenever we have a file day, that should be inside your Google Calendar to do your stock assets and your expenses for the previous month that has been completed. Okay. And whenever we put these files together, so whenever we have a stock asset file completed, right? What is the report that is generated from that? Okay. What is the report that's generated from you doing your stock assets? Let me know inside the chat box, guys, as to what report is generated by you doing your stock assets. And while you're typing that in, or if you don't know, type in don't know. I don't know what report is generated by me doing my stock assets file, right? And from that stock assets file, together with a few of your other files, right, as a few of your other engine files, it produces this report, right? So thank you very much, Dana, right? Thank you very much. You said you're not sure. Well, the report is Pulse, okay? P-U-L-S-E, right? And Sal, you've said sales. That's not correct. It is Pulse, okay? So what I want everybody to do, especially those who were not sure or got it wrong, is I want to make sure that you have your Pulse file, okay? So if you're able to, go across to your Google Drive and go and do a search for Pulse, okay? You will see a report called Pulse, and then the version which we're on at the minute, which is 2.1, will be beside the report, okay? And you'll be able to open that report up. If you don't have that report, okay, report that to us, right? Create a file, create a ticket for us and make sure that we know that you don't have it or you can't find it. But the first thing that we always do, we just don't say, I can't find it. We always go across to your Google Drive and search for it, okay? Because it will very likely be there, all right? Now, in conjunction with a lot of other things that we do, like DLR and different things, the expenses report will generate, the expenses file will generate what report? Let me know inside the chat box, guys. Or if you don't know, type in don't know. So you've done your expenses, right? You've done your expenses file for last month. In conjunction with other things, what report will that generate? Okay. Got some answers coming in. Joanne says P&L. Right? What's everybody else thinking? Can't just have one person. Maybe got a little bit of a lag. Okay. So David says, I don't see Pulse, but it may be because I have some sales. Well, Pulse is not connected to sales, right? Pulse is connected to stock assets, right? So we want to make sure. So I'm going to go in, right, to my Google Drive, which you have gone and done, Dana, and you've got Pulse. Let me see. I need to find a DM. Let me go and see if I can find this. Looking for it. So we got, I can see your folder, inside reports, and I can see your Pulse report, Dana. I can see it, okay? So just make sure that you're going in and you're searching your Google Drive for Pulse. Right? I can see your Pulse report. Okay. Absolutely. All right. Oh, great. You found it. That's superb. Superb. So everybody's saying profit and loss. That's exactly correct. Okay. That's exactly correct. That is the report that you want to go and find. And it's the one that's going to be generated from you doing your expenses and your DLR. And again, exactly the same thing if we were searching for Pulse, which is P-U-L-S-E. Where's my type? P-U-L-S-E. And the other one that we're looking for is profit and loss. Okay, that's what we would search for inside our Google Drive. Okay, so make sure that you can find both of these reports. Because at this time of the month, right, after you've generated your stock asset and your expenses, which would be early, right? That would be the early point where I talked about at the start of the month. This is where you want to go and review both of these reports. Okay. Now, the main reason, right, that I'm getting you to go and look at these reports, which is Pulse and profit and loss, is number one, to find out what you don't understand about them. Okay. Because if you don't tell us, and you'll see a very common theme here as I'm talking about, if you don't tell us what it is that you don't understand, we're not going to be able to help you. Okay. Because what we're going to be doing is we're going to be talking on a different level. We're going to be talking about something else. We're going to have skipped over that part that you didn't understand because we didn't know that you didn't understand. Okay. And I feel that it's a very important part, and I want to dig into it because I don't think enough people are coming forward and saying what they don't understand, right? I think they have some form of fear of looking silly or stupid or whatever, okay? And I want us to get away from that, right? And the only way that I know to help you is to enforce you to ask questions, okay? And it will be of major benefit whenever we can shake off that fear of looking silly or stupid or anything, because you're not silly, right? It's not stupid. This is potentially something that you have never seen before, okay? So whenever you've got something you've never seen before, you've never dealt with something before, you're going to have questions, okay? It's just that simple, right? It's just that simple. And it's not like a school thing where we've got to put our hand up in front of the class. You can send these things through to us on direct message. You can send it through on email. But we need to know what it is that you don't understand, right? Because if we don't understand the columns, we don't understand the rows, then you will never be able to read the report. And I can go into detail. I can provide you with education as to how to read the report. But if you don't know what it is that you're reading and you don't know why you're reading it, then we've got a much deeper problem, or should I say, a previous problem. So therefore, we want to make sure that you guys are reading this. Because at the very bottom of our profit and loss report will tell us what we need to know. Right? That's going to tell us whether there is a positive cash flow inside the business or a negative cash flow or cash inside the business. And these things are important, but we've got to understand what all the columns are, and we've got to understand what the rows are. Okay, so can I have your commitment that after this call, sometime during this week, that you are going to go down through both profit and loss report and the Pulse report, and you're going to look through both of those reports and come back to us with things that you don't understand. Okay. Joanne says, yes, thank you very much, Joanne. Okay. Put it in a document, all the questions. If it's one question, you can just send it through. But if there's numerous things, put it inside a document and just highlight this and say, I don't know what this is, right? I want to know why this figure is there. I want to know what this means, okay? Now, then what we can do is we can then put all of these things together and we can then educate absolutely everybody, right? Without picking on somebody and saying, hey, Jimmy said he didn't know what Amazon was. Let's put Jimmy up in front of the class and let's mock Jimmy and make fun of him and all the children are laughing. We're not going to do that, right? We're just going to say somebody didn't understand what this meant, right? Let's go through that and explain this in more detail. And it's highly likely that if you put something in, that somebody else will probably put in the same thing, which means that we can educate en masse. So we're not taking 10 individual people and answering the question 10 separate times. We can answer it once for all 10 of those people. All right. And what I would do, Angelica, is I would send off that on DM if that's the only thing inside profit and loss that you don't understand why it's showing that. Send that off to us. We'll be able to have a look. We'll see whether it's something that the report's doing wrong or something that you're doing wrong, and we'll be able to fix that. Okay, so whenever we see things like this, report them, and then we get them fixed. And I'm actually quite glad Ricardo put that into the chat there, because Ricardo was talking and he was asking for things, and he was saying, how do I do zero for my Amazon sales? Now, what we were able to do with that's quite a big subject. But what we were able to do with that is we were able to say, okay, let's record a video here, because a video is going to make more sense than a series of text messages back and forward. Right? We were able to create that. But we didn't know, right, that some people out there were looking for that until they put up their hand and they said, this is what I would like, okay? And we were able to do that, I would say, relatively quickly. It wasn't like we did it overnight or immediately, but it didn't take us 4 weeks, okay? Some things we might be able to do overnight. Some things may take a little bit longer, right, guys? But we've really got to up our game in terms of feedback in relation to what you want to see, what you need to have answered, what you want to have explained, and also then we can determine how, okay? So it looks like I've got a lot of people's commitment here, right, to go into those reports, go and find what it is that you do not understand, and create us a document. We will then compile all the documents together and be able to give training on just those 2 reports, right? We'll keep this specific. If there are other things, there are other topics, keep those separate from another area. But for now, just create a document and send it through to us, main@privatelabelpeople.com, and just entitle the email Pulse and P&L. All right. We'll then be able to compile all of those and bring that out to you guys. So I did say it was going to be very short and sweet today. If you have allowed for, say, an hour, well, that's going to allow you then to go and do that right now. But that is really the task. It shouldn't take us 2 weeks. As I said, it shouldn't take you 2 weeks to go and do that. I think today is a good day to get that done. And at the very latest, I think tomorrow is the best day after today to get that done. But it doesn't take that long. And then we can compile it, bring it to you on the next file day. And there we go. We will be good. We will be one step ahead. And then we can start looking into reviews. Okay. So if you commit to us in terms of compiling those things for us, what we will then commit to you to do is start to review your profit and loss for you, review your pulse report, and start to make recommendations to simply make your business more profitable. Do we have a deal, guys? Give me a deal inside the comments. And you make that commitment that you understand what the profit and loss report says in its entirety. You make that commitment to understand what's inside the pulse report to its entirety. Then you're going to understand what we're talking about whenever we start to do a review for you, which will simply make you more profitable. Okay, guys, that's it from me and my sun-drenched cam review here. And that was quite good. I quite like that. That was great. I will see you all very, very soon. Make sure and keep up the good work. And of course, stay profitable, you guys. All the best.